going to ask you to come with me for a little while, if you will, to the beautiful town of Oban on the west coast of Scotland in the fall of 1986. I was there with my girlfriend, Christine, who had brought me home to Scotland to meet her family. I think we all know what that means. And I was actually pretty much on the same page with her, because I had planned, although she didn't know it, I had planned to propose to her in her home country before we'd left. And so I was there. I'd actually had a dream, a very vivid and detailed dream about this proposal. And in this dream, I saw the two of us at a castle, a hauntingly beautiful castle, surrounded on three sides by lush green grass, and on the fourth side by deep blue water. Well, at this point, I had been in Scotland for nearly a week, and I just hadn't seen the castle that I needed. And I'd never been to Scotland before, but I had seen Brigadoon, and so I just assumed that they had kind of done in Scotland with castles like we've done in this country with Walmarts. Put one in every town. But like I said, I'd been there for about a week, and I hadn't found the one I needed yet. I was getting a little worried about my plan. Well, it had been a beautiful drive, but we had been driving a lot, and the roads over there are long and winding, a lot of twists and turns and bumps in the road, although it was beautiful, beautiful scenery that we were driving through. And so it was toward the end of a day, and I was really, really tired, and I was just really ready to call it a day. And about that time, Christine, who was navigating, I was driving, she was navigating. Now, this is not the best respective use of our talents, considering she had learned to drive over there, and I was learning. There's a difference. And so she had this map. Some of you will remember. A map was an analog device that we used to use to get lost, which has now been replaced, of course, by the GPS. The good thing about the map was it did not have an annoying voice. But anyway, so she had this map, and she said, according to this map here, and yes, she said it pretty much like that. She said, according to this map here, it says there's a castle about a mile down the road. A castle? Now, again, I was pretty tired. I didn't know if I could go another 100 yards, much less an extra mile. But she said, it's about a mile down the road. And I said, all right, let's, because see, I was on a mission. We went down that extra mile, and I did find a castle. I tell you what, it wasn't just any castle. It was the very castle from my dreams. A hauntingly beautiful castle, surrounded on three sides by lush green grass, and on the fourth side by the deep blue waters of Loch Ness. And I took Christine up to the top of the tower, and I got down on one knee, and what happened next is none of your business. But she said yes. And thank you. And it taught me that, sometimes if you can see it in your dreams, it can happen. Well, Christine and I were both in our 30s when we got married, and one of us was actually a little further into her 30s than the other. And so, you know how people do. And so they began to ask that inevitable question, so do you plan to start a family? And Christine would say, well, yes, all in good time. And people would say things like, well, honey, you better get your skates on, because at your age, they would say, well-meaning people would say, at your age, it could take a while. It took about 10 minutes. I'm just saying. And so, but it turned out pretty well, I would say, for us over the years. It's been a lot, just like your family lives, a lot of twists and turns and bumps in that road. But, I've learned that sometimes going that extra mile can make all the difference. So I want to talk with you today about what I've learned about people in your business and in a lot of businesses, about what it takes to go that extra mile and what are the benefits of going that extra mile. And really the premise of this whole presentation this morning can be summed up in these words. There's a reason some people have more success than others, and it all has to do with going that extra mile.